So I guess decor, which is not what we're calling it anymore, the true life story that we've come up with is the reason I am a funeral director. You know, this was not in my family. This was not, you know, something that ever occurred to me. And so when I learned that we could celebrate lives and at a time when people couldn't, you know, muster the energy and the kind of clarity of thought to do it, that's what drew me to this whole profession. And so I think it's been a frustration that it's been like a tiptoe into that. And clearly I've learned so much now that I've been in the industry, but it was always like, oh, that's not what I envision. It's not what I picture. It's not what
that we had sent out. The SRT put all those questions together on the surveys, and when we received the surveys back, we very quickly saw that everybody, you know, felt, all the funeral directors that responded, which was most of the market's directors, everybody was in agreement that it was decor packages were a very hard sell. They were confusing to families and you know, just difficult to explain. So that was a running theme that we saw, and we all were experiencing that as well. So it became our task to come up with a solution, like how can we make this easier for families to understand and visualize. So thereby we put together basically the Paint the Picture tour, where we were asking to go, you know, to take the family on the tour first. When the family comes into the funeral home, that we take them on a tour of the facility, and that the facility to be set up with a you know, a decor package already. So an example to help give the family an idea of or a concept of what their service might look like.
This SRT was really a very interesting experience. I think it's unique when a company that's $2.6 billion and a market leader comes to a bunch of frontline funeral directors and says, we've got a problem, can you help us fix it? I think everybody, to say the least, was skeptical at first. It's a difficult task. You don't know what's going to come of it. You don't know who else is on the team. To me, it was a very interesting experience, though. We were actually given what we have grown to call a safe zone. We could say pretty much anything we wanted, and although I'm not so sure even I believed it at the beginning, it turned out to be just that. Whether it was upper management, middle management, would come in, leave the room, never say a word, offer some advice about what an SRT should be doing, what the problems were, and how to attack them possibly. But we were given free rein to do what we wanted to. And when you think about where we've come over the last couple of years, we've gone from nothing but straight pews where you might sit and cry for 3 hours to round tables, and Lord knows I was one of the ones that didn't know if that would work. We brought catering into the situation so that families don't have to go back to a house and lose part of the people that are at the service, and they can all share a meal together. But bringing the decor, so to speak, up to the standard of what we were looking for was really what we were tasked with. To us, that meant every family, every time. Nobody should come into a Hardage Giddens facility, in my situation in North Florida, and see anything different, but every family, every time, the standard of what we will present. And then going from there, it just becomes a whole palette of doing anything that the family wants. I have personally done services over the last couple of years with everything from a John Deere tractor to a canoe. I had Christmas in August because the lady was a Christmas freak in her daughter's name, in her daughter's words, and we put up a tree and sang Bing Crosby Christmas carols. I had a family whose lady was a big bingo fan, and we made up bingo cards with, rather than bingo, her name Betty on it, and we'd call out the letters and you'd have to yell Betty at the end. It's just a way to understand that every family's different and every family has a right to celebrate the life in which they want to, in the way that they want to do it, but we're here to help guide them do that. And to me, it's been really very rewarding. I've appreciated it. Thank you.
When I was asked to be part of the shared responsibility team, I thought, oh, here we go again, they're not going to really listen to us, nothing's going to come out of it. And I think our first meeting, we were all a little bit hesitant, and as we started talking, and all of a sudden we all had the same vision, and I was really excited to hear that other people wanted to do the same thing that I wanted to do. They wanted to walk into the room with the family and just cast a vision for the best way to memorialize their loved one's life. And as we grew out of that, I just became more and more excited. And I can't say enough about being a part of a shared responsibility team. What we came through was amazing. And I'm so proud of the company for letting us be a part of this, and then for also taking what we said and putting it into action. And I think one of my biggest takeaways from the whole thing was sitting there, we're all twiddling our thumbs trying to think of what are we going to call this? What are we going to call this? Racking our brains. And Gina, out of the blue, says life story, and it just, a light bulb went off over all of us. And we just said, oh my gosh, that's it. That's how we're going to help all of these families. So I'm so excited that this is now being rolled out into North Florida, and any way I can be a part of this, I'm just excited because I love the look on a family's face when they walk into the room and they just see it, just like what Susan said, when they see, oh my gosh, it's yellow, how did you know, how did you know? And that's what we're all here for, and that's why we're all funeral directors.
When I started with this company a few years ago, Life Well Celebrated was a completely new concept for me. And I came down from an independent firm, working there. They never offered anything like this. I ended up finding some difficulty in expressing it to families, selling it to families, understanding it myself, and working at a high volume firm, I often found myself saying, do I even have time for this? Can I give this family the amount of time that they deserve and that they need for this to be accomplished? So, and coming together with this SRT group, I found that there were other funeral directors that were having just as much difficulty as I was, and we sent out a survey to everyone in North Florida, and we had like an 80% response, which was amazing. And so we tried to really focus it on what all the funeral directors said and simplify everything for everybody, for the directors and the families. And since then, in offering Life Story to my families, it's just been an amazing experience.
Having the pleasure of having an event coordinator by my side throughout the entire process has been something beyond instrumental, and I highly encourage the group that we all needed to have this. It is not on us as a director to have the complete vision for a family to make this Life Well Celebrated a success. It's all in the team, it's all in our coworkers, it's all in the event coordinator having a concept and letting them run with it. We just need to take the time to get to know the family briefly, whether, as I said, it's the color that they liked, the flower that they liked, what sport they liked, where they were from, whatever it is that they like to do, and bring that to our event coordinator, who are the experts in telling stories and making our vision or our thoughts more than we could have ever imagined. So that being said, with the group, letting them know that I have a team of people, of Kim Weiss and her team, to help me create whatever it is I have in my head, and she just takes it that much further, and then collaborating together. It's an outstanding thing that happens, that a family can come in and they can just say, oh my God, the room's yellow and it's got sunflowers, oh my God, that was Mom's favorite flower, how did you know? This is so beautiful, it just encompasses who she was. There's nothing more, there's nothing better than that, to be able to help somebody in that time and to make one small thing in their life just that much easier and better and more comforting. So to our event coordinators, they are completely necessary. Our funeral directors are completely necessary, and all of us have something to offer with this process.
Hopefully that's going to resonate with the other funeral directors, that they know this is coming from the grassroots. It's coming from other directors, and we're doing it only because we want to make everybody's job easier.
You know, as a company, as a team, you know, even before our shared responsibility team, as the vision began to grow and be cast, you know, to what was closer to my mind, the vision in my mind, it became frustrating to still not be able to communicate that well to families, because we didn't have the words yet, we didn't have the visuals yet. So it was so refreshing then to be invited kind of to back up with people that were on different sides of different markets, different sides of the industry, had been in, in it shorter and longer terms with different gifts, and to be able to be rather candid behind closed doors and say, this is what I think, this is what I hate, this is what I love. How can we put our heads together and make it make sense to a grieving person so that it's a gift to them? And I think, over time, with all of us saying enough words and listening to enough things, we've found something that is tangible and gettable by someone who needs to get it.